Howdy, folks. Widget Walls from needcoffee.com here. Back again for another Wayhomer review. Here's how it works for the uninitiated. I have just left the cinema where I have seen a film. It's behind you over there. And I'm going to tell you about that film on my way home because it simply saves time for all of us and we can get on with our lives and feel free to live a life of religious fulfillment. So yes, I'm here. That you're seeing this on my iPhone, which is now mounted to that window over there because I have no camera person today. And so we're going to see if this works. The test drive with this worked. I have no idea if we're going to get on the interstate, if we do make it to the interstate, and it will shake your brains out. And if it does, I apologize in advance because, you know, the camera, still dead, might be dead for forever. So anyway, today we're here to talk about Fast and Furious 6, or the Fast and the Furious 6, or Fast 6, I don't know, what, Furious 6, I think is what it said at the beginning. I have no idea. Okay, so, yes, synopsis. Well, we join, I did a Wayhomer for Fast 5. We join the characters of the Fast and the Furious universe, having pulled their one last job and decided to melt into the shadows and retire. You've got, you know, everybody trying to do their thing. However, there is evil afoot in the form of Luke Evans, who makes for a cool kind of villain. He is like the evil Vin Diesel, and that's not just because he has hair. But he is going around the world using cars to perpetrate crime. And, yeah, it's like the Injustice gang of the, is it Injustice Society? I think they were both. I think it was both. Of the Fast and the Furious universe. And so they can't catch these guys. So, Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, back again from G.I. Joe-ville, decides to bring in Vin Diesel and his crew from the 5th film and use a criminal to catch a criminal. There's your synopsis. Plus, as part of your synopsis, cars and flipping and guns and explodo and yeah. There you go. Okay, so again, my fascination with Fast and the Furious, even though, as a whole, the installments of the franchise that I've seen, you know, for the most part, they haven't really thrilled me in the past, okay? For various and sundry reasons. Like with the last one, it was mostly because they decided to go bigger, but got so ludicrous that it just went out the window for me, and I woke up. And if you've seen enough of these things, you know that I really appreciate it when I can go into a big dumb action movie and it promises me, hey Widge, don't worry about it. We'll actually let your brain go to sleep. I know you've got this fevered brain that probably needs a hell of a lot more meds than it's actually on, but we'll let it go to sleep. It can take a nap. It'll be fine. And so my brain drifts off with the notion that it's going to get a nice sleep. And then, when it wakes up, like an hour into the film, it gets pissed off. Now, that's what happened with Fast 5. But also, my fascination with the franchise comes from the fact that, like I said before, it was, you know, street racing movie, and then it sort of went, you know, nearly direct to video, and then it came back, and then it just has gotten successively bigger. As they've realized, as Universal's realized, wait, this makes money. And as I said before, I thought they were going to just milk it, take it direct to video and just milk it, making sequel after sequel until finally it died. But they decided to, you know, put the pedal to the metal and the thing to the floor, as the lady once said, and just go big. And they've gone beyond even the huge heist stuff of the 5th film. And with the 6th film, they've basically promised you the answer to the question of what if the people behind Top Gear did a Mission Impossible film. I mean, that's pretty much what it is. So, personally, having, finally enjoyed a Mission Impossible film recently, and liking Top Gear, I mean, I don't know really too much about cars. I mean, I thought the Bugatti Veyron for years was one of those alien races in Next Generation that had like cauliflowers for heads or something. But the fact that, you've got all these cars and the driving and the crazy action sequences, what they've tried to do is they've tried to step it up and go beyond their normal demographic. And I've said before about these films, if this is your sort of film, you sort of know, right? You just know. And it's completely and utterly targeted towards you. Mostly people who are into auto porn. You know what I'm saying? They just want to see fancy cars do stuff, all right? And then all this other stuff, the heist and the money and the criminals and the cops and the whatever, that was just excuses to make cars do stuff. But what's interesting about this film, to me, is that they've kept that. I mean, you still have cars, but the focus is on the action sequences, which happen to feature cars, and also the characters. And they've really, as much as you would want for a action franchise, sort of established a stable of characters that they've been playing off of. And they all have their own quirks and personalities, and it's not just, well, I'm the badass, or I'm the technical guy, or I'm the whatever. So they actually have some decent characters to work with, and you got some good actors playing them. I mean, Tyrese Gibson in this film is great. Followed up close behind by Ludacris, Chris Brown, I think is his real name. They're funny. They're great. But they actually also handle action sequences and fight sequences. Well, not so much Ludacris. He didn't really, get in the fisticuffs. But the stuff that they do quite well. So they've gotten not necessarily away from the car stuff. They've managed to keep that incorporated. So you auto porn nuts are still going to be pleased, right? But they've kind of expanded it to this action. It's gone beyond car foo into, you've got really extensive fight sequences and action sequences and explosions and whatnot. So you don't have to show up and go, oh, well, I'm just showing up because I want to see the street racing scene so I can see, chicks in short skirts, undulating in slow motion to the tunes of some soundtrack I will never own. There's a bit of that in there, but that's not the focus anymore. They've gone way, way beyond that. Now, when that happens, generally what happens is the film sort of goes out beyond its sphere, you know what I mean? And has delusions of grandeur and doesn't quite make it. But what's interesting is that it's not like, not everybody can go from Alien to Aliens and like up the ante that much, right? It's amazing what going plural will do for you. Fasts and Furiouses. But no, they didn't. Instead, they've sort of just stepped it up gradually. And it's almost like they thought about it, which I know is a frightening thought because most times they don't. But here it's almost like they thought about it because they've not only kept the stuff that I liked from the previous iteration, which was you had character moments that didn't distract from the fact that there was action going on. Nothing that just clunks, right? I mean, you've seen in those action sequences where you get to, that you've reached a certain point and whatever screenplay software they were using started flashing and saying, must have character moment here. No, that's not what happened. They actually felt not necessarily organic, but not like they're going to stick in your throat and make you cough to death. Okay, so that was good. So no, I was happy with that. So yes, so that was in there. The action sequences were in there, and more of them. And fight sequences are in there, and more of those too. And the good sort of fight and action sequences where you can actually tell what the hell is happening. As I've complained so many times in here, you spend all that time and effort and get all these people trying to work to give you a good fight sequence, right? That's going to be impressive. And for the most part, you're going to use like the real actors in it because you want to make it seem, you know, real. And then you edit the hell out of it so no one can tell what's happening. Maybe we're coming out the other side of that because I'm finally seeing films like this and others that I've cited here in the Wayhomers where that's not happening. So that's good too. But see, here's the other thing, which is why I'm just about inclined to give this a 3.5 out of 5, is because it stepped up its game and it kept going and it's been building on this universe. Again, you know, the closest thing to the Marvel Cinematic Universe that we've got apart from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and that let's have all these characters and just draw upon them. I mean, it's like Law and Order or The Wire up in here. So you've got that going on, but you've also got, you know, big crazy action sequences. I mean, yes, they revealed some in the trailer, like with the tank and whatnot, but they're big and they're dumb and they're crazy. But they also aren't ashamed of that. And they don't care, because they know that at this point, you've basically shown up to see big, dumb action sequences that, you know, might or may not make any sense. And they know that you don't care. So as long as you don't care, they're sure as hell not going to care, and all's well and everybody's happy, because that's what you showed up for. So, yeah, and the ending action sequence, I thought, apart from being utterly, you know, crazy, was really enjoyable because you had all these things going on. I was able to track it all. I was able to keep track of who was doing what, right? Because the editing was good. And at no point did I run into the problem of last time, which was going, that won't happen. Because they, even if what they talked about was utter, you know, bullpucky, all right? They still set it up with, oh, well, I'm going to use this and do that, and that will mean that this will happen. Okay, thank you. Even if that's not in real life, in the Fast and Furious universe, we know that you can use that to do this, and this will happen. Wonderful. And so, yes, you have this huge, big, fiery, you know, finishing sequence, which is quite fun, actually. So, I mean, yeah, I showed up for a big, dumb action movie with a lot of cars in it, and I got a big, dumb action movie with a lot of cars in it, and I enjoyed myself, and at no point did I feel like the film was insulting me, all right? It really feels like with the film, it's like, oh, hey, you're back for the 6th one? Awesome. You're part of the family. And by the way, family's a big part of this universe, so come on into the fold, and let's entertain you for a little while. That's what it felt like. And you know what? I was completely and utterly up for that, and they didn't let me down. So there you go. I think that whether you are up for action or you're up for this kind of crazy car foo, you're probably going to enjoy yourself. I mean, again, just completely pretend it's like Michael Bay, right? Michael Bay, who just sneers at physics, right? Forget it. Just leave your physics hat at the door, okay? And ask yourself, why did I leave the house carrying my physics hat? But yeah, as long as you're willing to do that, I think you're going to have a good time. Now, of course, you should see a matinee to save a few bucks. But, oh, and speaking of saving a few bucks, also kudos, because you know that the inclination was to make this a 3D film, because everything under God's green hell is a 3D film these days, right? But they said no, and they left it, it's just 2D. And I think that's fantastic. So thank you, Fast and the Furious people, for not succumbing to nonsense. So catch a matinee if this is your thing. If big dumb action isn't your thing, film isn't going to turn you into a convert, but it is enjoyable. So yeah. And Vin Diesel, why are you doing Riddick when you should be doing another XXX film and you know it? And by that I mean the franchise, the would-be franchise, XXX, the spy thing, not a porn movie. So there you go. Thanks so much for watching these things. As always, if you like them, please do us a favor and share them with someone that you love. We're pretty much everywhere. We're on Pinterest, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're wherever. So if you like this, spread the word in those various places and let people know that that you dig it. I would be greatly appreciated, because the more, the merrier. So yes, thanks again for watching, and until next time, we will see you on the Wayhomer Reviews, and I hope to God this thing actually recorded. Bye! Well, this will probably be one of the most popular Wayhomers ever, because the camera slowly descended until all you could see was my arm. So luckily you got to miss some of my face. So I don't know, we'll figure out something different for next time. Until then, bye. This is me saying goodbye. This is my arm saying goodbye. Goodbye.